Anyway, from that, we tell you that President Bola Tinubu will commission 3 critical gas infrastructure projects being undertaken by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and partner. This was disclosed in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale. He said the project supports government's efforts to grow value from the nation's gas assets while eliminating gas flaring. The projects lined up for commissioning include the AHL Gas Processing Plant 2. The second project, the ANOH Gas Processing Plant, is a processing plant designed to process non-associated gas from the Asa North or Haji South Field in Imo State. Lastly, the ANOH-OB3 CTMS Gas Pipeline project will evacuate dry gas from the Asa North or Haji South Primary Treatment Facility to the OB3 Custody Transfer Metering Station for delivery into the OB3 pipeline system. And now, to help us understand this better, I'm being joined by an energy consultant, Seun Dania. Seun, it's nice to have you around on the news.
Hi, good afternoon.
To be very candid, will the commission of these 3 gas projects effectively grow the value of Nigeria's gas assets and eliminate gas flaring?
Oh, evidently. As we process more gas, we'll be reducing waste. The projects definitely will unlock the full potential of Nigeria's gas reserves, making it more valuable for Nigeria. And of course, the reduction of gas flaring, utilizing our gas, producing, processing, it will reduce gas flaring, which will significantly decrease the environmental impact and economic losses associated with, gas flaring. But it's definitely, a significant thing for Nigeria's gas sector.
Well, the idea is to deepen domestic gas supply as a critical enabler of economic prosperity. But will it in any way lead to a reduction in price? Because to the ordinary Nigerian, that is the most important.
The timelines of price reduction might be, it will depend on several factors. But evidently, once there's an increase in supply, prices will come down. I think basic economics. Long-term sustainability is one of the things that we also need to put into consideration for us to see the actual price reductions. So if we have a reliable, constant supply to the domestic markets, and we reduce our dependence on imports, we have control over our pricing. Evidently, we will see price reduction, but of course, it will take some time. But it is evident that more people will then, emulate these things, build more gas plants, increase supply of gas, and Nigerians will start to benefit from our natural resources, which we have in abundance.
Now, Seun, aside dilapidated infrastructure, we know that inadequate gas supply is also contributing to epileptic power supply in the country. Now, I'd like to find out if Nigeria is able to increase the availability of gas for domestic use, can that lead to increased power generation for the country, notwithstanding the fact that we still have issues with dysfunctional system and, of course, infrastructure that is not so optimal at this time?
I think in the power generation side of things, most of the issues that we've experienced has actually been in transmission and not really generation. Of course, but to answer your question, increased gas supply would definitely increase power generation because we have gas in abundance. Nigeria Gas Company working hand in hand with all the power generating companies, build bigger gas plants which will generate electricity for the country. And evidently, the more gas we have makes it more affordable, then the average Nigerian will see the reduction in cost of power, and then it's a win-win. Businesses too will excel. Businesses will be spending less on generating power, and the Nigerian economy will definitely see the positives out of it.
Talking about positives, let's look at the commodities now. We're talking about dry gas, condensate, and LPG. Are these prospects for exports? Are they good enough for exports?
Oh, evidently, as Nigeria is already, we export a lot of LNG. That's the liquefied natural gas, which, that is the dry gas. LPG, which we use for cooking, heating, it can also be exported to neighboring countries after we have, satisfied our local demands. But every product is exportable. However, we need to build a lot of infrastructure for these exports. depending on the kind of gas that we're talking about. But there, of course, if we have big enough plants that we have export quantity, definitely. But LNG, we already are exporting on a daily basis.
So talking about building infrastructure, I'm sure you understand that Nigeria is still dealing with the issue around asset vandalism, pipeline vandalism, vandalism on, national assets and all that. And that in a way affects what Nigeria is able to produce, either oil or gas. And at the end of the day, we do not have a sufficient volume that can go around for domestic consumption. So what do you think is the best way to deal with the issue around sabotage of national assets?
So I think first thing is the political will to do it, right? Once we have the political will, then we can then consult like the Petroleum Industry Act, where there's some recommendations on community engagement. If we work with the local communities, build trusts, encourage them, to report vandalism attempts and also even stop vandalizing. And then ultimately on the government side, part of the political will would then be trust and accountability. We are sure that there's a lot of transparency. People are seeing the benefits of these projects in their local communities and in the broader sense of things, that they're not just saying it that things are being exported from their local communities and they're not making any benefits. I believe that there will be a reduction in vandalism, and of course we still need to factor in there will be some bad eggs, put in strong security measures. But I believe that at the end of the whole day, we trust transparency, good political will. We would not need to spend so much on trying to secure assets that we have. Gas is very, very, very volatile. And I'm sure even people that go near gas crude oil pipelines will definitely not go near a gas pipeline because that would be very disastrous. But yeah, trust, transparency, political will to do it. Once we have all of that, I believe that we'll start recording successes.
Well, I believe that a lot of people are optimistic about this and what transformation it can bring to Nigeria's gas industry and, of course, the country's economy. Seun Dania, energy consultant, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you much for having me. Have a great weekend.
And you too.